Today, we're looking at a black ink by Blackstone Barrister Black. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. Down below, there's timestamps so that if there's only certain things you're interested, you can skip around to it. But if you've got the time, I would appreciate you checking out the entire video. You can also follow me over on Instagram. And if you like fountain pen ink reviews and are new here, I would invite you to subscribe. In order to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then put the ink into this Pierre Cardin President with a medium nib, wrote with it for a day, and used it to take the notes for the video. I standardized my first writing sample by using Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper on all of the tests that I do. I do use other papers, and some of those will show up later in the video. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in sample form, so it came in a vial like this. And to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 15 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 21 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we didn't get any. Tomoe River with no bleeding and normal Tomoe River ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 21 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 34 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation, and there was none. Rhodia has no bleeding or ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 17 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone again with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 27 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation, and we still don't get any. I agree with Vita. I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see a very light gray that's pushed up and the black gathering at the top. Now the reason that it's interesting is the one on the right that I let dry for 10 minutes got almost all of the ink in that line on the bottom completely bonded with the paper in only 10 minutes, and very little of it has pushed its way up. I'm expecting some real resistance here. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page and how hard it may be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I would feel very safe using this in a note-taking situation because it barely noticed it. A little bit of that ink did move, but not too bad. Water had no effect on it whatsoever. Neither did the pen flush or that 1/3 bleach solution. This is a very permanent ink. It did exceedingly well. Now to clean this out of my pen, I did have to use pen flush, but I didn't have to use it in any kind of an aggressive way. I didn't have to work at it. I just had to put it through the pen once. I test for viscosity or flow using a thing called a tilt test. I will link how I do that, the video of it, down below or up in the cards. I also then put it onto a standard distribution so it's more easily seen with all of the inks that I've tested. Now, for the inks I've tested, I've found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Blackstone's Barrister Black has a viscosity of 3.23. making this a dry ink. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. I average all of those. Now for the inks I've tested, I've found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with a realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Blackstone's Barrister Black has an average dry time of 23 seconds, making it a bit of a slower drying ink. Instead of finding inks that look like Blackstone's Barrister Black, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I went for a nice purple, and I chose Diamine Bilberry. The second writing sample is done on Apica CD, black and red, and Franklin Christoph paper. Here we're looking at the Apica CD notebooks, with no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 10 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 16 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation, and there's none. Black and red notebooks with no bleeding, no ghosting. 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 8 seconds to dry. Medium, still the same tone with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and still doing great. 12 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation. We're not getting any. Awesome. Franklin Christoph with no bleeding, no ghosting. Tell me this is not a great ink. It's just a boring thing to listen to and to say. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 8 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 11 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation because there is none, and that is all that I have for writing samples. So what do I think of Blackstone's Barrister Black? This is a black ink done the way it's supposed to be done. This is a very dark line in every pen that you use. It offers no shading and looks truly nice on the page. What nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? Because it's such a solid performer and always putting down such great dark black lines, really, this is dealer's choice, as it doesn't matter what pen you put it into, the performance is always the same. If you've made it this far and you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I'm going to remind you to subscribe. Thanks for watching.